Alrighty. Let's get to it. Hello, everybody. I said hello, everybody. Why aren't I changing screen? Oh no, the guest is already on. Hold up. Wrong scene. It wouldn't be a J-Rob the Human stream if we weren't starting off late and scuffed. So we've hit both markers. I think we're on track. Hello, everybody. Welcome. And Fallon Graham, thank you for the 32 month resub. Good Lord. My gosh, there's a lot of you. Hello. Hello, J-Town. Hello, 422. Hello, A. Hello, Nemaria. Hello, Mr. Radiant Man. Hello, Hushed Joe. Hello, Wishlist. Hello, Branty. Hello, It's City. Hello, it's Bunny. I already said hello to you. Hello, Bubblysaurus. Hello, Bubblysaurus. Hello, Hushed Joe. Dragon Mastered. Hello, good to see you. New setup. It's a new setup every week, Bubs. It's a new setup every week. Dragon, thank you for gifting a sub to It's City. I think I missed another. I don't have my alerts up. Pro streamer. Dragon, thank you for the 20-month resub. And thank you for gifting a sub to It's City. Thank you. Normally, I would stop and I would say your name in an echo. Where's my echo? Oh, there it is. We found it. But we've got to get to it. It's 12:47. We're starting very on time here. Hope I don't get banned over here, Bubbly Source. I hope that as well for you. Let me explain what's happening today. The echo is delayed like the stream. Okay. Not wrong. A few things. First, most of you haven't, well, maybe some of you have never seen me at all, but I haven't streamed really for, I think a couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks now. I got sick at the beginning of February. Those of you who were here on the Tuesday the 6th stream, I apologize for my absolute delirious sleepiness. I don't think I've ever been as out of it on stream as I was then, which is why I haven't streamed for a couple weeks. So if I seem a little rusty, that's actually just my normal streaming capabilities. Sexy sick voice J-Rob, that's right. My voice did drop about an octave once I got sick. I do think you can probably still hear it. It's not quite
to deep manly voice levels yet.
But we're getting there one way. One day we'll get there. So today I am back, and I couldn't do the stream on my own. So I've got a friend to help me. We're going to be joined in just a moment by the wonderful, the delightful, It's Bunny. Before that, I do want to let you all know that this month, though streams may be few, this month we are raising money all month long for the American Heart Association. If you donate $10 or more, we will get your name up here on a heart on the board for the rest of the month. And they are a phenomenal organization that work to promote education and outreach and research on heart health. And although it's the American Heart Association, I know we have an international audience. I assure you their work benefits hearts around the world. So please don't feel like you are limited from contributing if you do not possess an American heart. Hearts around the world are perfectly fine. Okay. All right. All that's out of the way. here I'm gonna look. I'm not gonna try and do a smooth transition at all. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. I'm gonna press this button, and Kenna's lovely face is going to pop up on the stream. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna all cross our fingers, and we're gonna hope the audio is coming through nice and clearly and smoothly. And I'm sure you all will let us know whether it is or not. So please, all of you, give a warm welcome to our delightful guest. It's Bunny. Bunny, how are you doing? We got nothing. We got silence, dead silence. Let's see. Maybe that's my fault. Here we go. That was my fault.
There we go. I'm like,
there
I
we go.
have a mute button.
No, that was my fault.
Oh my god, Karen, it's not showing up. Hello. It's very smooth. I'm like, it's coming in good.
Super smooth as butter as always. Y'all let us know if we are sounding okay, if I'm too loud, how things are going. Let us know.
Yeah, like my chat said, they're used to it, right? Very rarely can I get all this equipment to work with me.
She also has never has audio issues ever. Bubbly Saurus says.
Never.
Kind of sounds a little quiet. Let's see. Let me bump you up a tad bit. We were playing around a little, trying to get audio levels earlier, and it's a balance. It's all a balance.
I can also turn up on my end if we need to. Hi guys.
You want to try doing that a little bit?
Yeah, easy.
Just a tad. I'm afraid bumping you up too much through the browser might distort things.
Alright, I turned mine down more than I used to. Usually have it because I didn't know if it was like more adjusted on your end or not. So
I think we're good.
That's a little better. Okay.
I think we're good.
Perfect.
For those of you that are not aware, that are not familiar with Kenna, I want to make sure I'm leaving your link in the chat. Kenna, it's Bunny, is a phenomenal ASM artist, both on Twitch and on YouTube. A delightful streamer. But for those people that aren't familiar with what you do, how would you describe what you do?
How I describe what I do? I usually tell people I make sleep audios. I help put people to sleep. I help curate a nice, comfy community where we all feel comfortable hanging out together and talking about our day and having friends and getting a good night's sleep at the end of the day. Probably my best way
valuable
to describe that.
I feel like in recent years, maybe not. Maybe this is my own impression, but I feel like people are more aware of how important sleep is for like mental health and for physical health and just getting through like the day.
Yeah.
And
we work so much. I feel like at the very least, like, just let us have our sleep. If we're gonna work all day and not have much free time, at the very least, like a good night's rest at least can help a lot.
Are you I don't know how to ask this question, not sound like a lunatic.
Go for it.
Are you a big sleeper? Are you?
Oh my, huge. I love to sleep. I tell Chad all the time, if I could just sleep as a full-time job, if I could just nap all day every day and that would be my life, I would be so happy. Silent Bunny, yes.
It's the good way to be. I used to not be a big sleeper. I used to be like,
Really?
I'm wasting so much time with this sleep. I need to be like trying to do things. And in the last maybe 5 years, I think I've totally reversed on that. And now, especially after having a kid, any moment of sleep is like a magical.
You're like, this is my me time now. Actually, I'm just using it just recharging after a long day.
Yeah, my me time is just behind my eyelids, just not conscious, if possible.
Yeah, it's serious. I mean, maybe it's just an age thing. I don't know. I guess I could see that even as I was younger, being able to like run off of, a few hours of sleep. But I would usually still take a nap like midway through the day.
You always been a napper?
Now it's like, I even my whole family are nappers. Like my husband came over to our house, and even all our family, like, yeah, we all take naps. It's like a thing. We all do the midday nap, and I've had to, like, as I'm like working more regularly, trying to not do the midday nap thing, and it's really hard. But
I am jealous because I have never been a napper, but I would say a year and a half ago, maybe, I did get very into naps, and it made my day so much better. And unfortunately, with having the baby, getting naps in regularly isn't as much of a thing. But man, to have been raised with naps being a regular part of your life is
thing.
that's a beautiful thing.
And it was tough getting out of it too. But so even today, I was like, I didn't sleep well last night. Maybe if I'm really good and I get all my work done, I can go take a nap after.
What a great reward! I love that.
Josh is like, oh my gosh, I'm so jealous of you.
That would be good. A good nap.
Little
Yes.
treat.
A little nap treat. When you let's just focus on naps. When you nap, are you dead silence? Are you a dark room? Or can you sleep in the light? Do you listen to ASMR music? What's your nap regimen?
I can sleep through like a tornado. Literally anything. I literally could just lay my head down, close my eyes.
So
Although
jealous.
I will say something really unfortunate that has happened since being with my current husband. He always sleeps with a white noise machine, and I used to hate it. It almost would be like there's just like a ring like in the background, and I'm like, I need the TV on or something. Like I need like noise. But has one time then we went on vacation as like the last year, and I was like, oh my god, there's something that's missing and I can't fall asleep. And what is it? And after a while, I'm like, it's the white noise fan. And now I have to download some like brown noise, white noise on my phone before vacation so that I can like put it on my pillow before I go to sleep. It's a disaster. But otherwise, I prefer as much noise as possible to sleep. I can't sleep in dead silence.
Yeah, I can't either. I've always slept with a fan next to me for pretty much for a very long time. Even if it's like freezing cold, I'm like, well, I need my fan, which I guess I could just do a noise machine. I guess it's functionally the same thing.
I feel like fans are the same. I feel like it's the same.
Although
I grew up in a big house with a lot of siblings. I have 5 siblings, so I think I like kind of sorry, I'm smacking my phone. Grew up with all that like constant noise. It's never quiet there, so
you just have to learn how to fall asleep with noise around you.
Yeah. I used to be my favorite to fall asleep, like listening to like my parents cleaning the kitchen and doing dishes as we're all going to bed, and you can hear the sink running and then like the washing machine. I don't know, I always found that noise like especially comforting.
Yeah.
For bedtime.
Yeah, a nice laundry, like washing machine going, especially if it's in the next room, and so you don't get the high frequencies as much. You just kind of get that low like rumble kind of sound going. That's sleep magic. That's original ASMR.
Yes, the original, absolutely. Or adults talking, like downstairs in the room. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, just kind of voices, especially if you can't quite make out what they're saying, but you can just kind of hear the back and forth, just like.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
So, how did you get into doing this? How did you get into helping people fall asleep? Did you start here on Twitch? Did you start by making videos or audio? What was kind of how did you get into it?
I started here on Twitch. It's kind of like there's like a lot of pieces to this sort of story.
Sure.
I had seen ASMR and watched ASMR videos before, but it wasn't necessarily related to me starting ASMR. I had liked watching those and stuff, but it was just kind of separate to my own creative ASMR journey. But once COVID hit, so I've been working a lot of jobs where I was involved with talking to people, and I love talking to people. And I'm definitely an extrovert and love the community and all that. And So once COVID hit, I didn't have that. I didn't have the constant day-to-day interaction with talking with a ton of people every day, or like seeing my friends. And Josh, who is an introvert, was like, hey, like, love you, but like we are trapped in the same tiny condo together 24/7, and I think maybe you need a hobby. So he's like, you should try live streaming, and like you should, that way you can like talk to people
You could put your headphones
online.
on and be in your own little
Yeah.
world over there.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife, kind of in that same time period, she literally was like, you need to go take a hike. Like you need to like get out and go. And
I
I
mean,
was like,
amazing.
yeah, I probably do. I'll go take a hike.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I don't know, especially, yeah, those two people aren't used to like being together all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
and we had just moved in together too, so it wasn't even like we were used to being in the same space. And I had actually started streaming games on Twitch originally, but as my community knows, I am not the best gamer, and it made kind of like my gaming experience on Twitch really difficult. I used to do like, originally it was like World of Warcraft.
Okay.
As much as I do really love World of Warcraft and gaming, it just wasn't my thing. So I kind of played around with other categories. I did baking for a while, which I loved, but it's just like a lot of work for the prep and then the cleanup.
I imagine
And
so.
then, huh?
I imagine that that's a lot of work, kind of getting it. You're in your
Yeah,
kitchen space, which is already, cooking's already kind of a messy
setting up the
thing.
computers, the camera, yeah, and then I would like forget ingredients, and I would be like, oh, I forgot to get blah blah at the store, and now the whole it never went smoothly. They were fun though, but I don't know. One day I was like, I'm gonna try this. Like I've seen other people do it, and it looks so cool and interesting to be able to like create sounds. I especially really liked experimental ASMR, and it kind of just, I started doing that on Twitch, and it just went really well. And I never planned on doing it for YouTube, but I think after a year or so, people were like, "You should branch out." And begrudgingly, I was like, "I don't want to, but I will, I guess."
Do
And here
you
we are.
do you do you still have a preference for streaming over creating videos, or do you love both? What's kind of your approach that way?
It's. I think if you asked me that like a year ago, I would have definitely said live streaming, like through and through. But I feel like as of lately, I've gotten a better grasp on video creating. I hate to say this, but I don't like doing things I'm not good at.
Sure.
And I mean, yeah, and it's just something that was new, and I really could not figure out for the life of me. And as I'm starting to get a better hang of it and get the quality that I want, I'm enjoying making videos more. So I would say I like them about equally. But when I tell people that, I say like, it's like when we take tests. Do you prefer to have like a take-home written test, or do you prefer to just like show up and do it? And sometimes I prefer to do my ASMR where I just show up and hang out with you guys and do it, than to have to like take it home and perfect it and make sure it looks good and then turn it in. It's a little trickier, I feel like.
Yeah, it's definitely totally different. It's a totally different world. I have to pause because we just got a phenomenal $200 donation to the American Heart Association from a certain ex-Silent Bunny.
Money. That is so nice of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That is incredibly generous. Let's get a heart up
Thank
here.
you.
Let's see. I have a stack of sticky notes somewhere over here.
Thank you so much, Silent Bunny. Thank you, Josh.
Yes, thank you, Josh. Do you have a color preference? I've got reds, blues, greens. I got a couple pinks remaining. I got a yellow. Let me know. Let me know if you have a preference. So that's interesting. You were really purple or pink? Oh, where's my purple? Here we go.
Ooh, I bet he's gonna pick. That's tough. Oh, he says purple or pink?
Yeah, he said
Pink.
purple or pink.
I think pink for him.
You think pink? Okay, we'll do pink.
Yeah.
We have very few pinks left, and one of them's going to Josh. So you were really interested, it sounds like you were going to stream no matter what, whether it was gaming, baking, or ASMR.
Yeah.
So what about streaming was like interesting for you?
Um, that is such a good question.
Because because I feel like for most people it's like I want to do this thing, and so I'll do it online. Like if I for musicians, I think it's like, well, I already play music, I'll do it live and have a community. For gamers, maybe it's like, well, I already love this game, so let me do it with other people. But it sounds like you were like, doesn't matter what the thing is, I'm gonna be doing it with a group of people.
Yeah. I just really enjoy people and talking to people, and even to this day, like I still miss sometimes getting to sit down with even just like a stranger, like one-on-one, and hearing about their life, their perspective on things, just stuff about them. I just find it really cool and interesting to kind of get for a moment to see like into other people's lives and what that kind of is like and entails. And I don't know, I don't get that in necessarily some other jobs. Like when I was working as a horticulturist, I'm by myself all day, and I just really like that. um I don't know, one-on-one conversation. If I could scoop all you guys up and put you in a room with me instead, and we can have a tea party, that'd be better. But yeah, this was kind of, it was just, I just really liked getting to see people often, like get online, and there are people that I see regularly and get to talk to and be like, how's your day, how is your family, how are things going? I think just that community
Yeah.
aspect, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
ASMR was kind of the most comforting kind of community, warm, welcoming, um, incredibly friendly. Yeah, just there.
And that makes sense. I wish I could take a poll of Twitch creators to find out who's introverts and who are extroverts, because
Oh, right.
my vague, I'm a very introverted person. So streaming is like kind of an unusual thing for me, where it's like, well, now I'm like talking to a lot of people, but it's different in that it's like it's either like more like one-on-one conversation, or there's not. I guess because it's like me and everyone's coming here to watch and chat, and I end up being, as streamers, we're kind of the central focus. So we can kind of choose
Mhm.
what we want to respond to, what we don't want to respond to, and yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I would like to see that too, because I also know people sometimes think I'm an introvert, and I could totally see that because I come off kind of shy when I first meet me occasionally, and I don't know, I guess I just give introvert vibes. But when you like talk to me, I'm like, careful if you see me at TwitchCon, because I will chat your ear off. I'll probably scare you away with how much I have to say.
Oh my God, Econ Mang coming in with the
Okay.
$100 dono for the
Thank you,
American
man.
Heart Association. Econ
Thank you
Mang.
so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Econ, let me know. Did you let me know what color sticky note you would like? Dealer's choice. Okay, you got it. Let's get Silent Bunny. Silent Bunny, thank you again, Josh, so much for the big $200 dono to the American Heart Association. Here is all my love and appreciation for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna get you right up here. Luckily, we've got cameras kind of, yeah, it'll just show up right there. And Econ Mang, let's get you, how about a nice red? Red. Good red and pink, nice heart colors. As we round out our heart month. This is ECONMANG. Thank you for the big $100 dono again. Here is all my love and appreciation for you.
Thank you, Econ.
All the hearts are thankful to you. Thank you. All right. So you are interested in connecting and in making community. So you start streaming on Twitch. What was it that led you to? You kind of mentioned a little bit, but were you already into ASMR before you were on Twitch? How did you get into ASMR, and what was it that was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do this?
I don't. It wasn't even anything crazy or big. Like had, I wasn't like deep into ASMR or anything. Like I watched videos. I didn't watch them like regularly to sleep. I still don't necessarily watch them to sleep all the time. I have one particular one I do, but otherwise I kind of just watch them out of my own just enjoyment. I really prefer and love ASMR with like a comedic aspect, just something to kind of lighten the mood, or um, just to, I don't know, distract from the craziness. And I feel like sometimes regular, just like if I'm just doom scrolling or something, that can feel really dystopian in a weird way.
Yeah.
And I just like, I need something else.
So you like
But
it
it
as like
wasn't,
a relaxing entertainment.
yeah, yeah, it's something that can help, I don't know, distract, but not also remind me that the chaos that the world is right now.
Sure, absolutely.
But but I wasn't like super crazy deep into it. And I think as I was exploring my Twitch interests, I had saw that was a category, and I had saw some wonderful people on there, and it seemed like a great, I don't know, thing to get to like talk to people and whisper and have like a nice, relaxing, chill time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of what one day I was like, I'm just gonna try it. Like I told Josh, I was like, I don't know what you think about ASMR, but like, don't be weird, but I'm gonna be like whispering in my office, like in the office, okay? He's like, okay. And then I don't know, I had so much fun. I was just trying it out, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it again. I just want to see how it goes, and I really enjoyed it and kept coming back to it and had a lot of fun.
Nice.
It was also something that I kind of am sort of surprised that I didn't kind of think about or do earlier in life. I remember I've had like somebody when I was like in college on the cheer team, they were like, "Can I pay you to record you reading bedtime stories?" And I was like,
Wow.
"No, you're crazy. Like that's crazy. I'm not gonna do that." And he's like, "No, I'm so serious. Like your voice is so relaxing. I just want to like listen to you read bedtime stories." And I was like, "Haha, like very funny." And then even several times too, like I was like doing community service too, and some man came up to me and he's like, "I know this is really weird to say, but you have like a really nice voice." I was like, "Oh, thank you." Like it's just a compliment I've gotten a lot in my life, and
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, why didn't I think like put two and two together? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Have you considered, or have you done any other forms of voice work, like narration or reading or anything like that?
I have not. I've thought about it, but I also worry that I don't have the most clear voice. Like, while it might be kind of a softer, rounder voice, I don't feel like my words are always the clearest.
Hmm.
But that's my own insecurity in
Sure.
looking into doing like narrative work and stuff like that. That's my own, like, I don't know if I could do it,
Yeah.
but
I guess that is an interesting. You do want. I guess knowing absolutely nothing about this field, my assumption is they probably do want people that have kind of non-distinct.
yeah,
Like you really, maybe you can't pick up on an accent and it's super clear. But on the other hand, I think there's something to be said for like having a nice voice that has character,
that's
and
true.
that is unique. Um, yeah, I know, like I said, I know almost nothing about
Nothing about it. Have you
that
looked
work.
into it at all?
I briefly was like, maybe this is something I can do. And then I was like, well, I really need to like soundproof my room better if I was going to do that.
Mm.
And then I looked into what that would entail, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to do any of this. So.
It's like, no, don't bother. It's so much
No,
work.
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for something that I'm marginally interested in. If it was something like
Yeah,
this is my dream, then, that'd be one thing. But,
yeah,
um,
definitely.
so, I'm curious, and whether this has changed over time, what are your favorite ASMR triggers as a viewer and a listener? And
Mhm.
then also, what are your favorites like to perform as a creator?
Those are those are like two complete different categories. So I'm sure you agree. Like the ones I like to listen to are definitely not the ones I like doing, and
Yep.
vice versa.
Yep.
But I think for me, I have like listening for if I am trying to sleep, and that's just the talking. I like that soft talking and hearing just kind of background noise, whether it's the TV or I'm like listening to someone talking specifically with like a slight accent. I love that.
What
um,
particular accents?
oh, I love to listen to gentle whispering where she's got like that slight. It's so subtle, but it's like really really slight,
Yeah.
like Russian accent you can hear every once in a while. Or
Yeah.
yeah, um, but otherwise, if I'm like enjoying something, I really like crispy, like crinkly sounds, like foamy, like the bubble. You know what I'm talking about? Like bubbles
Mm-hmm.
popping. It's all like that kind of stuff for fun, preferably. But otherwise, what I don't like listening to would probably be like anything really like wet and like sharp. And then I don't know when sorry, I cannot talk all of a sudden.
That's okay.
Ones I like
I
doing.
often fall into natural unintelligible speaking, so it's just
Yeah, the mumble that starts just
yeah,
spilling out.
yeah, just not making it's just noise. It's not words
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm babbling at this point. Ones I like doing. I loved sometimes it's like just whatever I found that week that I'm just like, guys, check this out. I got this cool spoon from the kitchen store, and that's all we're gonna listen to for the next week. Okay,
Yep.
you guys, because I found a new toy.
When you find something like that, is that you're like, this is my thing, like for a while? Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah, it changes. Yeah, just a new toy I found, and I'm like, guys, you're gonna listen to this
Yeah.
until I find a new one.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of draw a distinction between like, I think it's interesting. ASMR is such a broad thing. So there's like the speaking and whispering, and it's almost like a whole other category is doing like the crinkly, crunchy, up close, like really trigger focused sounds. I don't have a point or anywhere that I'm going with this, but I think it's like
Okay.
I just
I agree. It is interesting. Even seeing, I feel like I've noticed that also contrast to my own YouTube channel. I don't know if you've experimented back and forth and you are like, okay, I I do really enjoy experimenting with those like fun crinkly sounds and like changing audios, and I don't know what I'm saying, I'm just babbling on right now. But you know, the experimental stuff and
yeah.
the sounds and what you can make, but people really want me to talk all the time, and sometimes I'm like, I just want to make this little audio thing, and I can see the contrast on even my own videos and like way people interact with them and stuff, and I feel like it's almost entirely two different crowds as well. I agree
I
with
was
you there.
wondering if you felt like you had different audiences for kind of each of those, and also how you balance that in terms of live streaming, which is like, a longer piece rather than like individual.
I feel bad when people open my live streams because I get that whole like I talk so much. I literally talk the entire fucking time.
I know, me too. Yeah, I
And
hate it.
sometimes I tell more people I'm like, if you're, I'll get jokes for like, if you're gonna talk so much, do like a just chatting stream. And I'm like, boo.
No, not interested.
No, we can do both. We can do both. I don't know. I think that's just where a lot of people come from too. Is they're here. A lot of people are here to like listen to my voice. And I don't know, I like to still squeeze in that like, but we're also gonna listen to these cool sounds, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just force people to enjoy both, no matter what.
Yeah,
On my YouTube channel on Twitch, you are gonna be forced to enjoy both the experimental and the talking.
I think that's that's probably the best approach. If you enjoy both, then finding a way to weave both in a way that like feels good. And also, I know for me, like sometimes I just talk and talk and talk, and then I'm like, I gotta stop talking and just do this for a little bit. It keeps me having
That's
something
fair.
else to do keeps me from just talking for 2 hours, which I
I'll find a
suppose
way.
some people enjoy that, but I do not enjoy the idea of myself talking for 2 hours.
That's right. Even my dad the other day he's like, so how long do you stream for? And I tell him, and he's like, so you talk for like hours straight? I'm like, yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
about what? And I'm like, whatever I want. Whatever I want.
Anything and nothing sometimes.
Exactly.
Too many
And I've
chatty
gotten a lot
people.
of.
Sorry, I was reading too many chatty peeps in the
Oh,
chat also. No, the
oh
chat, you guys
no.
are great. You guys are wonderful.
That's true, and I love talking to them. So it's their fault too that they keep asking me questions, and I cannot ignore anybody.
You just can't resist. You're like, yeah, let's dive
They
into
ask me
that.
questions, and they must be answered.
Speaking of the chat, I do want to just say some quick thank yous. I haven't thanked anybody for any bits or subs or anything. So Eben, thank you for the prime sub. Sinchob, I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Yana, thank you for the 24 months. Mango, the Mangolorian, thank you for the 29 months. Sedona, thank you for the 25. City, thank you for the 100 bits. Twist of the Day, thank you for the 21 months. And The Water Megan, thank you for the 23 months. Meg says, OMG, my beautiful besties together on one screen. Hello, Meg.
Hello. I love you so much.
Hope you're doing well. Meg is the reason that you and I met briefly in person. I was actually thinking that it's so funny because I was thinking I want to collaborate with people. Who would I want to? And immediately I was like, well, who have I met in person? And even though we only met for 10 minutes, maybe?
Brief, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like, oh, it was a nice thing. This is one of the things that I enjoyed about TwitchCon, which this was my first time going, was just getting a chance to you just get you get a different feel for people when you meet in person, and maybe also without the pressure of having a camera a foot away from your face.
Yeah. It was my first year getting to meet creators, and it's really nice to kind of be able to I don't want to say put a face to the name because obviously I see you guys stream, but
sure,
really get a feel for the person. I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
just that little especially as creators connecting with each other, it's nice to have I don't know, a designated time and place to do that. And because I think as live streamers, as ASMR creators, it's to an extent, it's hard to, it's nice to have people that know what it is you do, and the issues that you have, and the fun that you have, and be able to relate with other humans in that way, because no one else that I know near me in person, or they're again, it's what do you do? It's oh, I make these relaxation sounds and videos, It's there's a level of immediate yeah, you get it, you get what I do. We can there's an automatic kind of connection that way, which is nice.
Yeah, I complained the same thing to Josh all the time, where I'm I really wish I had I've got my friends, of course, but I wish I had a friend nearby that I could however, and we can complain about the same things and relate on the same things, whereas I feel if I bring up issues I might have at work, my work here and stuff like that, to people who don't understand, it gets kind of brushed aside. They don't, and understandably they don't just get where I'm coming from, or certain things. And yeah, I really wish that you could easily find a closer community of people who do the same thing. It's hard doing online streaming, I don't know, just content online, and not getting to have that kind of in-person community, or even everyone's so busy, and even an online community, I feel I have a hard time finding opportunities to reach out to other creators and do other things and hang out, and even just be friends, because when do we all have time?
Totally, especially across time zones, people across the world, and sometimes, especially when you're streaming for I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours. It's like almost the last thing you want to do is like sit in your chair in front of a camera and talk to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I do think that, like, yeah, sometimes I'm like, maybe it would be cool to organize some like online creator meetups or something where it's like, let's just get like 4 or 5 people and just meet and just see what happens and
Yeah.
just talk. Because there's also, I find a funny thing about, at least for me as an introvert, maybe you feel different, but there's sometimes a difficulty in reaching out to somebody and being like, is this cool? Like, are we really friends, or are we just nice to each other on stream? It's
Yeah.
like, do you want to call sometime? Is that weird to ask? Like, there's an
Yeah.
awkward ice breaking time in online relationships, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get that. Even sometimes Josh will be like, "Oh, you should reach out to so and so," and I have that, and like knowing how busy I am, I go like, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to like. Do they even have time to like be bothered with my millions of questions, or, just me wanting to just like talk? Like, I don't want to put pressure on them to feel like they need to give me attention because I'm like, let's be besties
Totally.
or something too. So I feel like it's complicated, and it would be nice to have some sort of like community group and stuff too, where you could be like, oh, we're all here to be supportive of each other and be able to like, yeah, reach out at any time. Like, it's no burden. It's not gonna be weird if you like message me or anything. And
Right.
yeah.
I feel like this is dating myself a little bit, but when I was in high school, everyone used AOL Instant Messenger, and it was like, if you set your status to online, it wasn't just like, I'm on my computer. It's like, I'm ready to chat. It's like, send me a message is kind of I feel like the attitude. And now I feel like it's just those signals of like, is it cool? Or like, they're
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe they're just difficult to navigate, or they're not so obvious. Meg, do not call me grandpa, please. Also, I wanted to say hello to Jade. And Fallon Graham asked, do you need mods to set up play dates? I think so. I think we need the
That's
mods.
absolutely right. It's pretty much what Adam did for me and Rose. Quite literally, almost. He was like, "Hey, so Rose is gonna be in your state, doing something else. Like, you should meet up with her." And I was like, "I don't know. Are you sure? Like, I'm shy, and like, I don't know if she's probably busy." And he's like, "No, no, no. Like, I'm gonna get you guys in touch." And then he literally like set up the whole thing for pretty much us to do a collab on YouTube, and which I'm
So
incredibly
cool.
grateful for. And her and I've even talked recently about doing more collabs because of that, and
Yeah.
it's so helpful and wonderful. So maybe we do need mods too.
We need
To
someone else.
start being like,
We're all too in our own heads about it. We're like, oh god, I don't know. Yeah, but it's true.
right?
I think there's an element, because I try to tell people all the time, I'm like, send me a message, and if I can't get back to you, I won't, but I'm not gonna, or I'll be like, yeah, I'm too busy to do this. Or I'll be like, yeah, this is great. Let's do something, I think in general, we're all much more approachable than we think we are. You know what I mean? Like,
That's fair. Yeah.
if anyone reached out to me, I would be like, hi, like, cool, thanks for reaching out to me.
Yeah.
Like, but everyone's, I think to your point, that we all know how busy we are, so we feel like, oh, I'm sure they're just as busy and they don't have
It's
time.
tough,
But
and I know, it doesn't help me at all. But like, so to like preface this, like, me doing Twitch and everything was something incredibly new for me, technology wise. Like, I grew up really outdoorsy. My parents were very like, go outside, lock the door, I'll see you at sundown. And then even into college, I did, I did environmental stuff, so I was still also outdoors and very rarely on computers. And so I've never really like used a actual like computer often until I got into streaming, and I'm still like not very good. I'm just not really technology friendly, and I'm terrible with messages. I don't
Same.
get on and like look at this much. I would rather just be running in the woods right now. And I'm like, I have a really hard time with messaging and like checking that and being consistent on that and then remembering to respond and do that. So it's like also the other frustrating aspect that I have a really hard time with and get frustrated with myself with is like, why can't, if we would have it more friends and be better at this if you just respond to your freaking messages, which is like pulling teeth for me for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm like, just show up at my door.
I just need,
Kidding,
if you
don't
just
do that.
appear here, then it'll
Just
be cool.
come over.
Yeah.
I just,
I have similar problems with like messaging and getting back to people. I think I've gotten better. I try to be better about it now, but it's hard. I think people that are in my Discord that maybe are also in other Discords are probably like, Jerob's more active in other people's Discords than his own. Because, and I don't know why it is. I feel like if I go into my Discord to like say something, it's like, I don't know. It feels like there's some
it's
pressure.
overwhelming. Yeah, like
Yeah.
even okay. I felt this. Especially. I feel that every time I make an announcement, but especially last night when I had messed up. I'm like, time is a concept. I don't know what day it is. Josh helps me manage anything like that. I would be lost without him. But just like that, sending a message last night like, hey guys, like I totally told you guys that we could do the show like tomorrow like 3, but like lights are on, no one's home. I don't know what's going on, and now I have to send a message like telling you guys all like that this is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart that I have to be like, okay guys, I can't hang, but I'm also like, I have to send it because I'm almost like, well, the longer you wait to send this, then like they're not gonna know sooner in advance, and you're burdening them. But then I'm also like, I can't send it because I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
I know the pressure is just like you're just it just cooks in you, and it like builds and builds.
It does. I feel like it can feel kind of overwhelming sometimes. I don't know. I find being online and doing online work and all of that just honestly overwhelming. Sometimes I am like, I feel like I wasn't made for this kind of environment.
Yeah.
Just literally, I open social media and with there just being, there's just so much. I don't know if you ever feel that, and
Oh
you
yeah.
see your messages and you've got to respond to messages, and there's emails, and then there's messages on every different platform on top of that, and it's like it just feels really
The multitude of platforms and feeling like if I'm on there, I might be getting messages, so I need to check in. And then there's like the pressures of like, am I posting, is this a platform that I want to use for to express myself or to like build community? And yeah, it's a lot.
yeah. Sometimes I'll put myself in a deeper hole because I'll be like, oh, I haven't posted on Instagram in 3 days, so now I'm like too embarrassed to like come back after and post 3 days later, and then it'll be like 2 weeks, and then I'll put it off so much because I'm like, oh, I can't. No, I definitely can't post because like, what do you mean you're gonna just make a post after 2 weeks?
Right, it's got to be something meaningful after this amount of
Yeah.
time.
And it's hard too when I go on to Instagram and I see other creators like apologizing for being gone for like a day. Or like they're like, oh, I'm taking a break from social media for the next day or two, like just letting you guys know where I'll be at, so like you don't miss me. And I'm like, oh my, like, am I supposed to be telling you?
Should I be doing that? There's no way. I often wonder, I'm like, how do people have like the time and the energy to like be so on it? And I don't know what the magic power is.
I'm looking for it. I'm asking around.
I want to real quick thank Rosanna. Rosanna, thank you so much for the raid. How are you doing? Speaking of streamers that I got to meet at TwitchCon, if y'all don't know Rosanna does some co-working streams. Rosanna does some Sims gameplay and some other cozy gaming and chatting, and Rosanna's just a delightful human being. Rosanna and I may be working on a little something collaborative in the future. Please go check out Rosanna. Meg says Rosanna's another gorgeous redhead. She collects them all. That's a very normal thing to say, Meg. Not weird at all. But thank you, Rose, so much for the raid. Please get some food, some water, whatever you need after your stream. I feel like it's late. I feel like it's late where you are. Is it late in the Netherlands? I feel like it must be.
I see chat asking questions. It's so hard for me not to be like, oh, and
Feel
thank
free
you
if
to
there's
like my mods for like answering some questions here and there.
anything you see that you wanna dive in on, please.
I know somebody asked about feeling burnout from like other people's emotions and like kind of being burdening. What do you think about that?
In terms of like streaming and people like telling you about, you know, their problems and things like that, I try to cultivate empathy, and when someone is struggling, not immediately turn them away. However, context is really, really important. To me, it matters a lot if someone is brand new in the stream and they are just unloading versus someone that like I know, you know, a familiar name that that is struggling with something. I don't feel overburdened. I will tell people, you know, if I think it's if I think what they said is inappropriate, then I will usually let them know. I'm like, you know, sorry, this isn't really the place, you know, to vent or to express that, but I'm sorry for what you're going through. I think that this is gonna sound maybe very self-absorbed, I don't know, but I feel like I have so much going on that I can't possibly take on anyone else's burden. So like I will try in that moment to express some empathy, and I do usually, like, it's not that it goes in one ear and out the other. I do tend to remember those things, and so when I see them again, you know, I have I have that in mind. Maybe they're going through this situation. I won't usually bring it up, but you know, it's just like, it's just context, knowing what people are going through. But when I end stream, I am like, anything that was said in the chat is like wiped from my brain probably. I don't really feel like I take on any more of other people's problems than I can handle. I take on way too much of my own problems to handle, you know. But that's not so much an issue for me. What about for you?
I think I pretty much agree with you on all that there. Like, I think for the most part, I don't want to say that it like doesn't ever affect me. Sometimes it can feel like I am a person who like, I have emotions. I come into stream and maybe I'm not always 100%. And then sometimes there's days where like, damn, like everyone's having a rough day. Like
Totally.
someone comes in and it's like, this person's having a bad, like after one after the other, and then I feel like then the whole like mood of everything is like, today is such a terrible day. And I feel like sometimes I can either kind of bring down the whole entirety of stream, or we can all just come together and be like, yeah guys, it's been a really bad day today. Like, why don't we all just sit here and like try and make it better in the last like,
yeah, let's just
before bed.
Let's just have a moment to be like, you know what, this sucks, but we're all in it together, kind of mood.
Yeah, but I agree. I think kind of at the end of it, I end stream, I go smoke a joint and
Yeah,
and then go to sleep. But I also try to do a good job at setting boundaries for myself of like, when I don't talk about work, and when I do, I make an effort to be like, okay, like past dinner time, like I'm not gonna look at Discord. We're not gonna talk about work things. We're not gonna check the email. Like, we have to find time in our day. Like, it's really hard when you especially work from home and stuff like that, to like, you don't have that car ride home to decompress and to blast the radio and do that. It's just one room away. So you gotta like make that time for yourself to like, this is my decompress time after work, and then no more work after that.
Yeah, sometimes I do struggle with that element that, you know, this desk is where I do my live streams, and I do my video recording, and I do, you know, music work and recording. It's also where I do like my writing work It's also where I just chat with
Yeah.
people and hang out. It's also like I don't game that much, but when I do, so it's this weird, it's like being in this location, I'm sometimes like, am I working or am I playing or am I just chilling? And
Yeah.
sometimes the balance is like weird, you know. Sometimes I
Hard
sit
to.
down and I want to play, but I'm kind of in work mode, and I'm like,
Yeah,
maybe
that
I'll,
like punch.
yeah, I'm like, maybe
There's
I'll
no
get
way to
some
sit for
stuff
your
done.
space.
And you know,
Hmm.
and then sometimes I'm should be in work mode and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that.
Hmm. It's
So do you
hard.
have, um it sounds like you kind of have a routine for you know, ending stream, go smoke, go hang out, you know, go get out. Do you have greater like routines around that, about like getting ready for stream and like ending stream?
Um, Not entirely. No, I kind of just go with it. Even getting ready for stream, I've tried really hard, the as of especially like lately, to make it more structured, to like give myself that structure, because I feel like if I that without it, I don't know, I'm really scattered. I really want to do better in, all the platforms that I'm on, and I'm really wanting to put out good work, like work that I enjoy, and consistently. And consistency is like that's something I have a huge issue with. Um, and so I've started trying to create these routines where I'm like, you work from like this time to this time, like you need to work time and not just like working sporadically. And like this time is what you're gonna work on. Getting my like little checklist done. So there's not so much any sort of actual routine, but I do try and be like, okay, since Josh works 9 to 5, I try and be like up and down here by 9. It's not always at 9. Sometimes like 10:30.
Sure.
But and then and sit down. I do as much work as possible, like editing. While those are loading, I go and get ready for the day to do more work. Um, but I know that having that kind of routine is kind of the only way I can sort of consistently do anything, really.
Yeah, I'm definitely a creature of habit and routines, and yeah, it's pretty vital for to have some kind of routine, habit, or system that's like almost makes me do the work, you know. Because
Hmm.
if I have to convince myself to like edit a video, sometimes that's hard. But if it's like, if
Yeah.
it's on my list and you know I do something else before that that's related to video, then it's like, okay, it makes sense for me to do this. But yeah, that's a,
Hmm.
that is a, I think it's a struggle for anybody that's their own boss in a way, because
Hmm.
not only are you doing all the work, but you're also like setting all the priorities, like what's
Hard.
important to me right now. um I guess
It's
I'm
hard to find
wondering,
that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I
It's just
was
hard
gonna
finding.
ask, how do you do that? It sounds like I'm asking like, can you tell me how you do that? But I mean like, how do you prioritize? And I'm gonna broaden this question out a little
Mhm.
bit. Um, how do you prioritize the different aspects of being a creator and determine which ones you want to put your energy into? So like you mentioned, like Instagram, and you feel like, you know, you've got some pressure to do that. Is there anything particular that's like, okay, this is happening, so I need to post? Or is it like me, where you're like, gee, I really haven't done that in a while. Let me construct a whole system around this, do it really well for 2 weeks, and then totally stop doing it again.
I could almost open my door and show you my like. I had like a 30-day chart, like
Okay,
a little gold star to post for like posting, but
nice.
that didn't work for very long.
Hmm.
I have. That's such a good question. I feel like it. It's hard not to be selfish and be like, I'm gonna do this because that's what I want to work on right now, and I don't want to work on something else.
Yeah,
um,
it's
and
natural
I
to
think.
work on what's giving you energy and what you're excited to do, of course.
It's I know chat still would even agree that I that they like see me still do that often, like TikTok streams. I'm like, I know I gotta do TikTok streams. They bring a lot of people into the channel, like they're really helpful. But like every week I'm like, I'm gonna do it, guys, and then comes to it and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
Not feeling it.
um I sometimes I joke, and I think I've said this to some people too, where one time I got a tarot card reading from this lady who she was they were like, if you want to be successful at what you do, like from your spread, and it's like you could be really good at what you do, and you're gonna be like well known, but you have to do the things you don't want to do.
Mm.
What the spread said apparently, and I was like, and I think about that all the time. And when I'm sitting there doing the things I don't want to do, it's like you got it. You have, this is part of the like this is part of the thing. You have to do it even if you don't want to do it. And I think to really answer your question, it's more of just like I genuinely make a list. I try and block my days being like, this is when you're gonna work on stuff. Like the let's say like Mondays are my editing day. So I'm just gonna spend the entire day editing content. And that is all you're gonna work on, and don't even think about anything else.
Yeah.
And then the next day, like trying to block that off, but genuinely just like making a list of every platform and what needs to be done, and just like forcing yourself to be like, I'm gonna check that box off. And it doesn't always work, but it's the best I have, really.
Yeah. I think it's hard for I think it's hard in this realm that is so creative, and that, you know, we have this luck and joy and privilege to be, you know, exploring our creativity and, you know, making, whether you want to call it art or just, you know, making the content that we want to make. That's such a nice thing, but it comes with, you know, all these other elements that you like may have like no interest in. You know, if I could just stream and maybe make a video every now and then, that would be great. I would just do that. I probably wouldn't be on Instagram or Twitter or anything else like that.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. It's like if you could just openly do the one thing that you really enjoy.
Yeah. But you do, like, your Instagram feed, you know, you do like these cosplays and these outfits, and when I look at your Instagram feed, I'm like, this is such a creative, you know, realm that you work in. So do you, well, maybe we'll focus just on Instagram.
I mean,
but
I can even I can answer that quickly. Even
Yeah.
honestly, I think I do have like a help aspect that goes unseen a lot. Like people are not aware of how much work Josh does for me, like, and how much he helps me with a lot of the business analytics aspects of things, which gives me insight on what I should be working on, what means the most. He loves analytics, and he loves seeing, you know, taking things apart and looking at numbers. I can't stand numbers, but he also loves photography. So he helps me a lot with the like Instagram content, or he gets to do his creative hobby, which is photography, and then I get Instagram content, and it kind of solves my issues there.
That's really great, and that's actually like a pretty cool, a very obvious benefit to like collaborating. And like in this case, you're collaborating with your partner, so you do have like benefits of like, hey, let's work on something, maybe, you know. You're like right next to each other. But even in general, I think that's probably actually something I should think more about, is that just that collaboration aspect. And it doesn't have to be two ASMR creators, because we kind of do the same thing. But, you know, if you're a video creator and then there's a photographer that does something, or there's probably interesting ways to collaborate that will end up producing something that you wouldn't have done otherwise, but is still like it's still part of your creative expression and work.
That's a great thing to bring up that I didn't actually even think about until you said that, but of just like reaching out to other creative artists, even not necessarily in the ASMR realm, but maybe even like music producers, or like you know, people who just love cinematography, something like that, to kind of be able to come together and create something really cool.
I will, first of all, I will note, Fowler and Graham, I see your point about asking me and Elizabeth to do guided meditations together. Noted. Two kind of experiences that happened to me. One is that I did a rewind. Sometimes I feel like ASMR artists are like, here's my thing that I do, and kind of hard to do that in person. Fair. However, I did a music performance at a yoga studio recently. So it was myself playing music and Jordan, the yoga instructor, kind of leading this yin yoga session. Super cool, super fun.
So cool.
And after the session, one of the participants was talking to Jordan, and she was like, "Do you know about ASMR? You should do ASMR. You have like such a good voice for that." And it's funny because Jordan was like, "Well, if you want to know about ASMR, you should ask that guy." But it was, sometimes I think about like getting out of our little worlds, you know, like we talked earlier about doing like voiceover work and things like that. But people that do ASMR, that are especially like speakers, could like do public speaking or do, you know, guided meditations, things like that, like out in the world, you know, and have cool collaborations and experiences that way. The other thing, and this is literally just a plug for something that I don't have any like direct relationship to, but I learned about this organization called Creative Mornings. I don't know if you've heard of them. They started, I think, a couple years ago, and there are chapters in cities across the world, heavily in the U.S. and I think they have a decent Canadian presence. And it's just it's free events, and they provide like breakfast and coffee, and it's literally just like creative people come together. There's usually like one or two speakers that speak for a little bit, and then it's just like networking and like opportunities to meet
really
people.
cool.
And I just went to my second one last Friday, and it was great. And just being able to meet and talk to people in all kinds of different disciplines. It's one of those things where it's like, even if nothing comes out of it, it's like kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like I made an in-person human connection with another creative person. That's valuable. You know, that's just nice to have those interactions and experiences.
Definitely. I have to see if there's something like that in my area. I've even occasionally like reached out, like, there's no like group things that I can kind of like attend and enjoy and sort of seek that in person. So that sounds like an amazing,
It's a cool
amazing
thing
to be able to like get together and do.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. And yeah, you know, it's one of those things that, at least for me, unlike you, I've been a terminally online person for a lot of my life. So having getting kind of a nudges and pushes to get out and especially like in a post COVID world or a still COVID world maybe, it's, you know, we all kind of went into those little isolation bubbles, and it's nice to get out and see other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to ask, we talked a little bit about kind of creativity and the work of a creative. I'm wondering, what as a creator do you find the most fulfilling? Like what aspects of it are like, this is my jam, this is like what I love?
I feel like as much as I have the things that I like doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm learning the things that I like doing are not quite always the things that I'm best at doing. And the things that I guess I would say like are my jam is just like that helping, I don't know how to say, like the relaxation, helping sleep. Like, and I really love it when I get those comments that are like, I don't even make it through the video, like kind of ones, but I really love doing those like meditation type, like the really slow, just talking somebody through like relaxation, kind of even hypnosis, therapy almost type of stuff. I really, really like that kind of work.
I feel like you were
That's
dipping into that just now as you kind of were talking slower, and I was like, yes, go on.
Yeah. Love that stuff.
That's
But
cool.
I do prefer almost, and I've kind of worked a little on my own kind of side projects to just fulfill my own personal interests of just making, like, not talking, not necessarily even intending to be relaxing, but just interesting audios of like things in the world I have my own little collection of like, you know, oh, this I've showed chat a few times, but like, oh, I went outside and I recorded me walking around my backyard in the crunchy snow, and like, I just love this kind of stuff. And it's not the things that people are here to like come to me for, but that's what I enjoy doing on the side of my just talking, is the nice like, oh, check this out, put your headphones on and you can hear the crunchy snow all around your head or something.
Totally. And it's nice having things that are like, that's like tangential to like kind of what you do, but it's kind of your own little thing. And it's nice to have, it's also nice to have little creative projects that are like just for you, things that you don't share.
It has been really nice. It kind of is fulfilling in its own way. The work that you put out is open to a lot of judgment, and which I'm incredibly sensitive to, unfortunately. Yeah. And even if it's really good, like even if all the comments are good, even if there's not a bad comment in sight, I always still have that critical judgment mind of something that I put a lot of work into and created, and now it's out there in the world for somebody to view and decide if it's good or not, even though that's subjective, objective, whatever, whichever one it is. But and so it's nice to have some time to yourself to create things that you enjoy that are even just for yourself, and things be like, I made this and I'm not going to necessarily share it with everyone, at least not right now, and kind of enjoy my work. Kind of give myself a break from the make something really good and then present it and hope that everyone on YouTube enjoys it.
And especially with something like YouTube, where it's like, even you have comments and that's one thing, and then you have like the numerical metrics, and so seeing something that you worked really hard on and it not be performing well, and especially like not knowing why. It's like, why isn't this is the best thing I ever made, it's the best thing anyone's ever made, why isn't it doing well? That's that can be,
it's tough.
It can be very defeating.
I know chat's heard me complain a few times about somebody that I was like, I really worked hard on it and I really like it, and like, you guys, nobody's watching it. But no, that's how it is. Do you feel like because you produce videos quite regularly, is that right? As of recently, I've gotten better at doing them twice a week.
When you're doing them, maybe when you're doing them more often, does that change that pressure or that sense of that fear of judgment, or just change your own judgment? Does the frequency with which you produce them affect that at all?
I wish it did. But honestly, it's my own mood sometimes. I think it's my own outlook on it, no matter what. If I put out something good that I am like, this is good, like I think I worked hard on it, I did a good job, there's some things that I'm like, not a bad comment can sway me, my opinion on the work that I put into this, and be good. But and sometimes putting out content regularly can kind of make me feel rushed and not quite put out the quality that I want. And if I feel like I'm not putting out something that's the quality I want, then I will be more aware of those negative comments, and then it kind of goes in that cycle. And I know some people have seen that, where I'll be like, yeah, I made 3 videos this week, but you guys aren't gonna see any of them, because even if somebody watches it, it goes, no, it's good, you can put that out. If I don't love it, then I'm gonna be more aware of anything negative said about it, and then I'm gonna be sensitive about that, and it's gonna damper on my mood and on my creativity.
Do you hold back like videos that you record and you're like, it's not hitting a standard yet?
It happens more often than I would like to admit, unfortunately. Even like recently, I put one out to just members. I've started to try and use that for my members only. Occasionally, if it's something that I'm like, I don't want the public to tell me what they think about it.
Sure, yeah.
But like, you guys are here because you do enjoy my content, so I'll give it to you guys. If I get around to like editing them and stuff, and people would be surprised at how much stuff I have just like stuffed away that I'm like, I don't want to show you guys that content.
It's kind of in some ways because when it comes to videos, I don't do that at all. If I go through the time of recording a video, it's going up. But for things
Okay.
like music or something like that, I work on stuff all the time, and then it just for a multitude of reasons, nothing happens with it. Which in some ways is just that feeling of, okay, I did this and I made this, and that's fine. And I don't. It is comforting in a way knowing you don't have to share something, but it's also nice, like you mentioned with the members only. It's nice knowing that I can share this with a smaller group of people and people that like are really into what I do, and they'll even if it's bad, they'll tell me it was good.
Yeah, I'll take their opinions better because they do enjoy it. They do want to watch it. Like, sometimes I've even a few times shown Twitch like the content before I put it out. I remember one video I'd be like, I don't know about putting this out, guys, so I'm gonna make you watch the video and then you'll let me know. And usually the answer is yes, but sometimes some people are like, oh, like you need to up the volume, or they can give me little tips here and there of like maybe try this instead. And that's always been honestly incredibly helpful as well. Either whether it's boosting my confidence to do something or giving me insight to something I might have like missed or need to tweak.
Yeah, totally. That's interesting. So I was kind of, one of the questions I wanted to ask, and this kind of leads into that in a way, was like, what, when you are preparing to make something, whether that be a video or maybe you're planning a special live stream or whatever it is that you're going to make, how much of that is based on your community and, for lack of a better term, like meeting their needs or expectations, versus like you just being like, this is what I'm really into, I'm gonna do this?
That's a great question because that's come to my mind a lot, even like recently. Like, this is so silly. Like when I'd love to tell Choppy, I'm like, oh, somebody hurt my feelings in a video. Like I put out there's plenty of times where I put out a video that is incredibly specific to maybe somebody's request. That I like, if a request I get a lot in chat, and then if chat is like, oh, we love this trigger, I'll go, okay, like maybe I'll make a video on it, and then I make the video on it, and then maybe YouTube people don't like it, and then it's really hard to deal with those feelings of like, well, they liked it, but I think it goes back and forth. I have like a board here of like all my ideas, and if I'm feeling really, unfortunately, my ideas tend to be a little more like, grandiose than to be like bigger than sometimes that I can personally produce, and so I'll put those ones off a long time. Like, I'm sure people know videos that I've talked about making for like the last like month or two that I've been slowly trying to figure out how I want to get it just perfect, and I'll get sucked into those ideas and trying to create exactly what I want. So in that kind of meantime, I do tend to pick things that chat likes and what the Twitch community has kind of been really enjoying, and make videos based on those. And then while I also tend to work on the things that I do really like and want to do really well.
It's nice to have the Twitch community as kind of a sounding board for like, where am I gonna put my attention, or what do they think? That's nice.
I use them a lot as a sounding board for like, honestly, a lot of things. They've given me a lot of really good ideas. Sometimes I'll be uploading a video and being like, what should I title this? Like, you guys tell me what you think. And I don't know, they do influence a lot of content. It's been honestly really helpful.
Yeah, and it makes sense, because they're the people that are gonna watch it, and that want to watch it, and that want to see you make great stuff. So it's understandable. I saw Jade posted a little earlier and said, I think Jade said that, she said, I try to make one piece of content for myself for every piece of content that I make for my audience. And that's kind of a nice, I think that's a nice balance to be like, this one's one for me, one for you, and see what because it's, I think there is a bit of a trap, especially for creators that are really chasing like the algorithmic push, and trying to keep up with certain trends to kind of lose themselves and lose like what they are passionate about in that process.
I found myself doing a lot of that. Like, I think beginning of YouTube, I can totally agree with that, where I was making content I felt like that people wanted and like the algorithm needed. And then I think the more I did that, I was not enjoying it, and it made me really dislike making YouTube content. I think that's why now I kind of say I am enjoying making YouTube content more, because I have started to do that, to make the videos that like are for me and that I enjoy. And maybe they don't always go out, but
Sure.
you know, as opposed to trying to chase, like you said, chase that algorithm.
I noticed Fallon Graham said, especially when something's permanent, same thing for like writers. I says I can easily give a talk in person, but I'll fret 10 times over if I have to put it into a permanent medium. Which I feel like that's a big dichotomy for like people who make who live stream and produce videos. You know, like I have no problem with the stream being scuffed, you know, like at the beginning, like it's almost like you should expect it, and it's fine, because after it happens, you know, yes, some people are going to watch the
90
VODs.
days and then it's gone.
It's gone, wiped from the servers, wiped from everyone's memories. But with something that's like video, there's like this pressure for it to make it more like polished and evergreen maybe, and it's just like it feels more like I made this thing. Do you have that feeling about, you know, your concern about people's judgments and maybe your critical nature? Do you have that feeling towards your live streams as well, or are those?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People will even say like, I need to post VODs more often, like put all your VODs onto YouTube. And I'm like, I am a good person with good intentions, but I don't want anything clipped out of context. I don't know what, I'm rambling to people who, know me through live streaming. We talk through chat often, and not that anything bad is ever said on stream, but I always have that back in my mind, where the internet's permanent, and if I post that to YouTube, people can go back and like rewatch something that I probably like said, on some crazy post,
Sure.
3 years ago, and now I'm stuck with that forever. So I always tell people, like, I'll post VODs when we can all behave here in live stream. But until that happens,
it's like a goal that keeps going, carrot on the stick. Everyone has to behave, remember?
Yeah. I'm like, if you guys can not say anything crazy in chat, if I don't say anything crazy to respond.
City says so never. Got it.
Yeah.
What aspects of being a creator do you find the most draining?
I think it's not even like a real one. Just like expectations of just expectations, whether they're other people's expectations of you, and like trying to like meet the content people want me to make, or seeing other creators put out like something that you're like, oh my gosh, I can only dream of having, videos that look like this one day, and then I create those expectations, or expectations and goals of, subscribers, followers. Like, it's hard not to put those on yourself, or be reminded of them through other people, and I feel like that can be really hard sometimes.
Yeah.
To kind of manage. I don't know.
Well, first of all, the expectations are definitely real. It's definitely a real thing to struggle with. But I get what you mean. It's not like here's this thing I have to do that I don't like, but it's something that it's kind of ever present. It's just this amorphous thing to struggle with, and like you said, with yourself, with others.
Yeah, like as much as I want to just like be like, oh, I'm just a creative soul making my creative content, and that I just enjoy so much. It's hard not to have those in the back of your mind of like the goals, or just being a human. And like I have rough days. There's days where I'm like, I don't want to stream. I'm I'm tired, and
Yeah.
I have all these things going on in my personal life or like my own internal emotions, and sometimes I'm not up for it, and it can be really hard sometimes when people are excited to see you, and then if you are a people pleaser, you want to be like, oh yes, I'll totally be there, but then like internally you're like dying because
Like,
you're like,
please, no.
I I just want to like crawl in bed and sleep all day. It's been rough.
I think there's. Again, maybe I'm dating myself. I think there's a quote from George Costanza in Seinfeld, and he said something to the effect of like, "I've never been disappointed with having an interaction be canceled. Just like if something's canceled, that's fine. I'm great, no problem." Um, yeah, I think that's just an interesting thought. The expectations being very draining. But you also mentioned maybe expectations from looking at what other creators are doing. What is do you get inspired by other creators? Like what inspires you? What inspires your creativity?
It's such a good question. I'm like, oh, so many things. Real world experiences often. Like a great example. This is where I got this video that I've been like working on like a crazy person, and then I even involved chat for a little bit while I was doing a just chatting stream working on it. Did you go to Meow Wolf in Vegas by any chance?
I did not go.
You
I'm
didn't? Okay,
familiar with it, but I have
that's
never
okay.
been.
They had this room. It wasn't in Meow Wolf, but it was in the Area 51 thing, 15, whatever. And there's this big mirror room where they had like flashing lights and they played like this like crazy music. And I was like, I need to now go home and build a mirror mirror walls. And we need to do a brainwashing video, like where I like a brainwashing session, like sitting
Yeah.
in front of a dark room, like hopefully not like epilepsy inducing like flashing lights. But then all these like cool creative ideas. Or like I've been really watching a lot of Dreamscape ASMR's videos lately, and they have amazing like production, like cinematic audio quality. Everything is like it's like a movie every
Yeah.
time you watch it, and it just really inspires me to be like, I want to create something that people watch and are just like, wow, it looks stunning, it sounds stunning. Um, Clearly, it's something you were even in like enjoying doing. I want to like really really love my work, and I find that in itself inspiring, the like goals I can set for myself, and I want to circle back to the expectations that are also hard, but I don't know, can be exciting sometimes to set a bar for myself that I want and work really hard to get there. And I see myself over the years having improved that, but still trying to be better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What are some of um your goals, short term or long term, as a creator?
That's a great question. My goals, because I feel like I haven't really. People ask me that, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get through the day.
Just trying to make it.
I'm just trying to make it
It's
through
a
the
reasonable
week.
goal.
um, I don't know. I don't necessarily have like. Of course, I have like basic subscriber goals. I'd love to hit that like 100,000. But at the end of the day, I also like being a content creator. You kind of realize and come back to the point that like numbers don't really mean a whole lot at the end of the day. Like there's plenty of people that I think are absolutely deserving of like all the recognition and don't. Um, but even then, it doesn't matter how many people are there to see the videos if I'm not like truly enjoying what I'm doing and liking my own content, then it doesn't really feel worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my goals is just to like create, and I've been working on this the last few months, but just kind of creating an environment for myself that where I do really enjoy making the videos. I'm working on something that I like, getting like learning new knowledge to get what I want out of it. So I guess my goals is like just learning. I've been trying to take classes and figure out cameras and lighting and stuff a lot more lately to try and reach those like goals of like, this is how I want my stuff to look like. This is what I want to be doing.
Yeah. I think that's a a great goal is you know, like you mentioned, having you see the mirror wall and you're like, I want to do that. It's really nice to be able to have an idea and then know how to realize that idea and then do it. And that's hard, you know. That's like,
It's
that
hard.
requires, especially in like, you know, with cameras and sound and lighting, all of the equipment involved, all the skills involved. It's no easy thing.
Mhm.
um, so I think that it is getting to the point where, you know, and I think any artist, any creative person is, you know, you're always striving, you're always trying to get better and improve and get closer to realizing your vision. But uh, taking concrete steps, like taking like classes and learning stuff like that to get
Yeah.
closer is like, it's amazing. That's great.
Hmm. Yeah, like I'm trying to still after so many years, like I use Premiere Elements as my main like go-to for editing because it's just simple, basic. I know how to make my edits, and over time, like I've tried to gradually like incorporate using Premiere Pro. I use Adobe Audition for my audio editing, but I'm like, well, it'd be easier if I just did Premiere Pro because then they like go together. And I haven't been doing that, and but it's hard when I'm really not tech savvy at all, and there's been plenty of times where I'm like on the verge of tears, being like, "What? I'm watch this tutorial 5 times, and I don't understand why it's not working." And then Josh comes in, he's like, "All right, let me watch it." He watches it 1 second, he's like, "Oh, he didn't say this. He didn't say go click this, but like." He went and clicked it, and that's the only thing you're missing. And it's like, can be really discouraging to
Yeah.
try and do that and learn all that. But it's helpful in the long run, trying to like stick through and just, I don't know, learn it. It's been nice long term.
Yeah. So it's, so I know you know, you have Josh to help with those things, but it sounds like you want to cultivate those skills for yourself too. Is that right?
Mhm. Absolutely, it can be frustrating, and it has been frustrating. Not obviously not as much recently, but like even the beginning of streaming, just being so new to how computers and just technology in general works, and people ask you questions, and I've got to sit here and be like, I literally don't know anything. I just show up and I'm in front of the camera. I've barely even turned it on. And just trying to like, I feel like I lose a lot of credibility sometimes that way too, though, and it can be frustrating where people, do the like, oh, go get Josh to help, or go, and I want to be able to do that myself
Yeah.
sometimes. But it's a really hard learning curve over the last, 3 or 4 years of owning a computer, and then of, learning all the pieces of it and how things work, and putting it all together.
Yeah, especially, you know, there, when it comes to live streaming and video recording, there's just so much. There's so many technologies.
Hmm.
It's it, it's wild that we can even do this. You know, like
Yeah.
connect online, and we were, you know, we were like, you know, I just sometimes I throw caution to the wind, and I'm like, yeah, we'll just meet up a little bit before the stream. I'm sure we'll figure out our video and audio, no problem. And
I
then
even
there's
was like, oh, that's more than enough time. I was like, 20 minutes. I'll click and this will turn on. And then I was like, of course it's not working.
yeah, it's either like this is way more time or this is not enough time. This is not working.
Yeah.
Um, so along that, I'm gonna wrap up soon because we're getting a little close to our time. But I'm curious, just based following up on that conversation, what is your relationship like to your equipment? Like, I know obviously you said your computer is you're newish getting into that, but being an ASMR creator, microphones are definitely like kind of a big part of what we do. Things like cameras. Are you getting, or are you super involved in like the tech of each of those and like,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
That is the one thing that we like talk about. Josh is like, I don't know anything about the microphones
Hmm.
or the like audio equipment, but like I can do the computer stuff, little, just like tech things. Like and even with the example earlier with the like tutorial video, I am a terrible I have to learn by doing. I can't learn by watching videos. I can't learn by reading. I have to literally like do it and walk through it. Um, but the microphones and the audio equipment and all my stuff has been really nice because it's I have a good relationship with it. It's nice to have something that I feel like I can pull out, plug in. You know, I do a little bit of reading, but like I'll play with it until I get the hang of it. Whereas like I know some things I can't quite do that with like a PC. I can't just be like, oh, I'll just slap the parts together and hope that it
Just
turns on
cross your fingers,
eventually.
hope it works.
Yeah, but no, I really love kind of collecting interesting microphones. Even I've got the phone mic and I've got some contact mics to kind of like play with. I love getting to like tinker around and use different microphones for different things. I'm very involved with all of my audio equipment per se.
Is
But when
is ASMR for you? Is it more of an audio thing, or is it really like the combination of like everything, and of like visuals and like personality? Because I think that's a big part of it. And you answer that either as a creator or as
I've never thought about that.
enjoyer.
That's like a question. For me, it's tough because even when I talked about my own little personal projects I work on, it's solely audio. I like make a point that I'm like I don't want to do any video, and this might kind of sound this is going to sound a little personal for a minute, but I sometimes I get like imposter syndrome with the whole like, oh, you're cute, so like I'm watching your videos because you're cute, and I'm like, okay, well, like I'm working really hard on this sound right now. I
Totally.
I spent 2 hours editing the audio, not even the video.
Yeah.
So and I want you guys to be here and like that. So I guess I would say for me, it's mostly even the audio, and why another reason why I kind of work on my own personal projects and stuff too, so I can kind of almost prove to myself like that I can create something really good that I really like, and not have to kind of put other aspects to it. Is it the looks? Is it the personality? Is it
Mm-hmm.
the video editing? Like one thing at a time, and be like, okay, I want to be really good at this, and it's like creating really good, crisp, nice like 8D audios.
Yeah. Well, I think you do an amazing job at that.
Yeah.
If for those of you that aren't familiar with It's Bunny, please go check her out. Videos and live streams, I feel like both your audio and your video. Crisp is exactly the word that I would use. It's like
Thank
it
you.
sounds so crisp, and I also love your. I feel like you are very intentional with your like color, like whether it's the color of the wall
I'll sit
behind
there for
you,
minutes being like, is this the vibe?
the color, but also like your backgrounds. I feel like are usually minimal, but maybe you've got like an artwork or your lava lamp. There's enough. It's really nice like set
Thank
design,
you.
which I think is something that maybe doesn't get talked about enough in ASMR. Is like creators that have like really nice backgrounds. I like, for
I
me at
love
least,
that.
I that's my jam. I just like to see whether it's big and elaborate or whether it's like minimal and like calm. Either way,
I
um,
agree. I love that about that. And I've gotten better at it over time, but even I like to keep, that's another thing that I use my community as a sounding board a lot for that. Like some things I always can't take full credit for because I'll put things back and be like, all right, guys, is this the vibe or no? And something else, try new things out and be like, you guys tell me what you think. So it's like comforting if we like the darker lighting, if we like
mhm.
this, then it's always really helpful.
Yeah. Well, again, that's so cool that your
Thank you so much.
your community is so like involved, and that you have this nice, like I don't know, symbiotic kind of relationship of like we're gonna work together and make this thing cool. So
Thank you.
super super cool. Kenneth, thank you so much for chatting and being here.
Of
This
course. Thank
was
you for having me. This was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
this was super fun. I want to do more collaborations in the coming year, and would love to do something again with you. Have you back on sometime would be super cool.
Absolutely. I would love to come back sometime.
All right,
Thank
great.
you so much.
We didn't talk about how we were gonna end this, but we're just gonna say what's gonna happen again. I'm gonna fade out the screen and then mute you, and then I'll message you afterwards later and say thank you for doing this.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, take care. Everybody, please go follow the wonderful Kenna. It's Bunny again. I'll put the links here in the chat. I have to make sure that I put 2 eyes because I kept forgetting, and for some reason
That's okay.
I got
It's only that way because usernames are taken.
I got the 2 ends, but the 2 eyes kept tripping me up. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I also want to throw up our link here for the American Heart Association. If you would like to donate, let me just quickly thank again everyone who donated. Silent Bunny, Josh, thank you so much for that huge $200 dono. Econ Mang, thank you so much for the $100 dono. And Bolo, thank you for the $2.50. Appreciate it. That brings us up to, I know it's on my screen, but it's so small on my screen that I actually cannot read what our total amount raised is, because that's how I set things up. $362, which means that we passed our first milestone goal to do an electronic sound bath stream. So I will be in touch on Discord, and we will do that very soon. Probably maybe next week, depending on what's happening. I have to reach out to some other potential collaborators and see what's cooking. But for now, I'm gonna let you all go because Bunny and I can both talk for a long time, but my voice is done. Thank you all so much for being here, for hanging out. Welcome to all the new people that showed up. Also, so many cool creators that I saw in the chat. Hello, Sleepy Bush. Meg's been here. Jade's been here. I saw Mitch. Mitch Matched is here. Lots of cool people doing cool stuff. LBZ, IBZ, LBZ. It's LBZ. LBZ. Thank you for the 11-month resub, LBZ. Thank you. We are gonna do a little raid here. I think I see that Eva is streaming, Eva Bream. So we're gonna go say hello and spread the love. Spread the love over there. I will not be doing a co-working stream this Saturday. I think I said that in Discord. He has to question himself. Yes, no co-working stream this Saturday. As always, the Discord is the best place to get the Discord is the best place to get the stream schedule, stream announcements. Also, my newsletter, the Quiet Mind newsletter, goes out almost every Monday, and I give my schedule for the week, but more importantly, we have a discussion topic that is either related to mindfulness or productivity or whatever I feel like talking about that particular day. So if you're interested in that, it's very short. It's kind of short and action-oriented. You can check that out, as well as everything I'm doing over at thequietmind.io. Oh boy, I've spoken way too much. Thank you again, Kenna, for being here. Everybody, I love you all. See you again soon. If you're on Twitch, we're going to go raid Eva Bream. Please copy one of those raid tags. If you're on YouTube, this is just going to end. It's just going to abruptly end. It's going to be awkward, but that's how it is. All right, let's go. Thank you all for being here so much. Love you all. I'll see you again soon.